Stage 3 drought update.
Mr. Hagmark.
Madam Mayor, council members, Joshua Hagmark, Water Resources Manager, here for another Stage 3 drought update. Today we'll be going over how the community has been responding in its conservation efforts. We do have some fantastic aerial footage of the reservoirs and their current status. Lake Kachuma operations. Lots going on at Kachuma right now, and so I'm going to brief the council and the public on that. Capital projects and water conservation program highlights. Graphic we've been seeing for a long time here. We have the dotted gray line, which is planned demand. We have the dotted red line, which is the baseline for our water conservation target. And we have the drought target of 25% conservation. You'll notice that in May, this time frame right here, the council really got the message with Stage 3, and we've seen some tremendous conservation. For the month of August, we saw a 35% reduction in water usage from August of 2013. That is some impressive numbers. August was a very, very warm month. Where does that put us since declaring a Stage 3? Approximately 37% cumulative reduction. If you were to look at this, we're talking about this area now between 25% conservation and what we achieved. This is approximately 1,000 acre-feet of water that has been saved since we declared Stage 3. So who's conserving? What we're seeing, and this is our biggest user, is the single-family residential customer. And we've seen a 30% conservation from that group, which is fantastic. There is the most discretionary water usage there, and so we're pleased to see that high of a response. As far as multifamily residential, 18% conservation. Again, a little more hardened water usage, not as much discretionary outdoor water usage, but still respectable conservation from that customer class. Commercial industrial, again, another hardened water user in the sense that there's not a lot that they can cut without cutting customers or cutting products, whatever it is that they're in the business of. Irrigation for residential and commercial, we saw a tremendous response, which is fantastic. Lots of messaging. Ms. Ward will be going into all the work that she's been doing to make sure our irrigation customers are well informed in how to reduce their water usage. Irrigation for parks, recs, and schools, 15% conservation. I'll dig into the actual water usage for parks here in just a second. Agriculture at 1%. This is actually on par with where we thought. Remember that our ag users make up a very, very small percentage of our overall water usage, and we have them on water budgets based on what type of crop they're growing and the weather. So they're already on a very tight budget, and anything below that budget basically means lost production. So a total water usage for ag is about 150 acre-feet a year. So really a small number. And then, of course, our recycled water, because the facility is down, we are asking our customers to conserve, and they've gotten that message, and we do appreciate that. So within the tiers, we wanted to take a look at where the savings was coming in the tiers. We have our 2013 single-family residential usage here, which is just over 3,500 acre-feet a year. And now in 2015, we saw about a 500 acre-foot drop in Tier 3 water usage and about a 500 acre-foot drop in Tier 2 water usage. It's fantastic. Multifamily and saw a similar reduction, much smaller, about 300 acre-foot reduction overall. Again, a much more hardened water usage there. So Parks and Rec, they've been racking up some great conservation. They came out in 2014 with a plan to deal with the drought and obviously to save some very precious specimens and a lot of our street trees. The golf course itself has had a 25% conservation in its water usage. Parks, which encompasses the largest water usage, is 38% conservation. This is spectacular. 21% for recreation. This would be like Los Baños, the bathrooms. These are things that are a little more difficult to conserve, but still overall 31% for Parks and Rec. One of my points in putting this in here is showing that the city is pulling its weight as well. When we're asking the community to conserve, we're also doing our part and also balancing that with the needs of a community for our parks and outdoor spaces. Today I have for you some great aerial footage that we put together to help the folks on this side of the hills see what's going on with our water supplies on the other side, mainly Kachuma and Gibraltar. So we're going to start off with, you can see how dry it is. We're here at Gibraltar, just south of the dam. And this is the plunge pool right below the dam. You can see kind of the high water marks and where it usually sits. Again, just extremely dry. Usually you see some seepage coming out of the rock from just the natural water on the other side. And so it's just extremely parched back there. See all of our gates. We've been exercising the gates and have them ready in case El Nino does show up this year. But in the event it doesn't, we are planning for continued dry weather. You'll notice the log booms out here. We got them set in place. Those are critical in making sure that no debris blocks the dam or the gates of the dam. You'll notice it looks like there's a lot of water in the lake. The thing is, it's about 18 inches deep. So we really tried to get Miss Ward here to walk out there and show us, but unfortunately sink in muck. But there really isn't a significant amount of water here. It's a lot of sediment has built up in the lake, and it appears that there's water there. You'll notice the nice green color. It makes very difficult to treat this water. However, Cater is set up to treat some pretty difficult looking water. Now here we are at the boat launch at Kachuma. It's a pretty sad situation. The lake is down about 80 feet. The boat launch here over to the right drops off. There's a nice 20-foot drop-off at the end of the normal boat launch. People have to make their way down to the little docks that have been set up down here. If you didn't know what the lake is supposed to look like, there's some awfully pretty meadows that have shown up. You've heard discussions of a dairy that's remnants of a dairy that used to be down here that's starting to show up. But overall, the lake is at about 17.5% of capacity. They're just wrapping up the downstream release, which dropped the lake a good 8 feet. And we're going to see here shortly the barge, this pump barge that went online August 24th and is now making it possible to move water from the lake to the south coast. The north portal in the distance here, this is our normal intake where gravity flows usually occur. And in this case, we're having to pump in. But pretty extensive network of piping and pumps to make this our water system continue to function at such low levels. Actually got a picture of the downstream release. This is what was going on for the downstream water rights holders. You see this black pipe here? This is the state water project. It does look somewhat insignificant in comparison to the magnitude of Kachuma, and it does have its limitations on how much water we can release. You'll see the hose coming in over here. That's state water, and this one that's leaking, which is okay, is what's feeding the fish, and it's okay that it's going back into the lake and we're pumping it back up again. But as you can see, that down 80 feet from its spill elevation, it looks pretty dismal. So this is a graphic I typically show to the Water Commission. It kind of shows how this drought compares to the last drought with the operations of Kachuma. And I think it gives an idea of really what's left in the lake. We declared here's stage 1 in February 2014, stage 2 in May, and recently stage 3. We're following pretty closely to where we were with the last drought. Unfortunately, with the last drought, there was no downstream water rights accumulation of water in the lake, so we at the time had a lot more water that was for member units or for project water. So that's a slight difference. And again, we didn't have state water back then, and we weren't doing fish releases as well. So anyway, we're watching this closely, and we'll be continuing to report on that. The capacity, this was as of 9/11. I think we're at 17.5% now, somewhere in the 32,000 acre-foot range. Of that remaining water, about 3,200 acre-feet is what is left that the city actually has access to and will be relying on over the next year. We do have adequate supplies to get us through this next next water year. And remind you, the water year starts October 1st. That'd be next week. So we're just wrapping up the 2015 water year. As I mentioned, the emergency pump project has been playing a vital role since August 24th. And we're already starting planning to relocate the barge in the spring. Should this winter remain dry, we need to move it to a deeper part of the lake, and that comes with an additional price tag. Downstream water rights releases, as I mentioned, are wrapping up this week. And while those fish releases were going, or while the downstream releases were going on, that did satisfy our fish water releases, which was helpful for the month and a half, 2 months that was going on. Satisfied the roughly 250 to 300 acre feet that we normally have to put down for fish habitat. We are still requesting, we are still working under critical drought operations and requesting from the Bureau some lenience in how much water we're putting down. At this point, we still have not gotten any firm answers on that. Tracking of remaining water, this has become a very hot topic amongst the member units, making sure that no one agency steals the water of another agency. And so we have agreed to have the county and COMB, who both have no water rights, manage the data. So everyone's put in exactly what they expect to take out of the lake for the next year, every month. And so COMB and the county will be every month reporting out whether the agency stayed within its planned allocation. And if they exceeded it, we have discussed a recovery plan that we all can kind of understand what everybody's position is. So if people are taking what they said they're taking, then we can rest assured they're not on track to take anybody else's water. So trying to create a transparency, and we do have monthly meetings going on where we're discussing this. Drought response capital projects, recycled water facility. I believe just a few weeks ago you approved the grant. We're moving forward with the agreement for roughly $1 million towards the recycled water project, which is fantastic to help offset the cost of that. Startup is scheduled for late October. I'm hearing October 23rd is when they plan to do startup. And Ms. Ward here will be doing quite a bit of public outreach to customers to let them know when we're back online and what the water quality is going to look like so that they can begin to use more recycled water. Groundwater well projects. The high school well is finishing a major milestone with the completion of 3,500 feet of raw water piping. That piping brings it from the high school down to the Ortega groundwater treatment plant so we can treat that challenged groundwater. Finishing the final design of the wellhead improvements, and that should be going out to bid shortly. And the goal is to have this well in production by summer of 2016. The new Alameda well, with construction has been complete, and it is online at 420 gallons per minute, and we're very pleased to have that well now. Desal project status update. August 28th.
Quick question, Victor. Is that about what we expected from the Alameda well?
That's actually more than what we expected, which is fantastic. Yes.
Terrific.
On August 28th, we issued a notice to proceed to IDE Americas. This week, they officially began demolition and removal of the equipment that they will not be using in the reactivation. They have been working diligently on procurement of the long lead time items, such as the membranes and filter parts, along with pumps that are going to take 9 months to get here. Water production is anticipated to begin in late September of 2016, and the final contract is actually due to be complete October 7th. At this point, I want to turn over to Ms. Ward.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, my name is Madeline Ward. I'm the acting water conservation coordinator. And in the spirit of back to school, I'm going to share with you some of our water education programs. We've had many of these programs since the 1980s. They're very popular, and they're something that are ramping up again as the school season begins. So we offer free in-class presentations for K through 6th grades. These presentations are tailored to the grade level, and they are aligned with the Common Core Next Generation Science Standards and the Environment Education in the Environment Initiative curriculum. It covers a wide range of topics, including where our water comes from, the water cycle. We sing a very popular water cycle song with the students, where water goes, and also saving water inside and out. Also, for our 6th grade students, we partner with Southern California Gas Company to offer what's called the Living Wise Home Efficiency Kit. It includes a curriculum for the teacher and one of those kits to go home with every student to make efficiency repairs in their homes. We also offer free musical assemblies for elementary schools, and this is co-funded by the County Water Agency. It's called H2O, Where Did You Go? And it's provided by Shows That Teach, which is a group that travels all over Southern California. They have many songs that highlight water cycle, the importance of groundwater, drought and conservation, and the bottom picture is the ever-popular teacher song and dance, where they make them do a hula about the water cycle. We also offer free field trips to the El Estero wastewater treatment plant. This is for grades 3 and up. It's a full tour of the facility as well as the lab. We take them into the lab to show them what's going on under the microscope, what you can't see to the naked eye. And free buses are available for schools in the city's service area. And I do want to call your attention to our public tour, and that will be this Saturday as a part of Creek Week. And for more information, please go to sbcreekweek.com. This year, I'm pleased to say that we reached 4,000 students, last school year. And in addition to our elementary programs, we do have programs for the older students as well. For junior high, we have a water activities manual for teachers that includes curriculum, lesson plans, quizzes, etc. And we also sponsor a special award at the County Science Fair that recognizes students that create a project that has to do with water supply reliability or conservation. For our high school students, we have our WaterWise High School Video Contest. It's in its 15th year this year. We will be soliciting videos this fall and spring from the schools and choosing our winning video next May. Once those winning videos are chosen, they will be played in the the local movie theaters before the movies that are playing. And we're here for any other questions.
Great. And I think Mr. Walker left. He was the only speaker slip for here. So any questions or comments to the council? I guess you've said it all. Wow. We're probably holding on. Right. Let it rain, right? Bring me some water. There we go.
Madam Mayor, if I
yes,
could.
Go ahead.
I have a suggestion. We have done so well in conserving water, better than any place in the state as far as I know. I wanted to ask if you would consider writing Jerry Brown and saying, why don't you come down and give us some sort of commemorative award or something? Get recognition. It would be great, and maybe we could get him here and get some...
Get some kudos.
Good publicity.
Governor.
Would you do that?
I'm going to the League of Cities thing in the end of the month. I'm sure he'll be there. Well, I'm sure he'll love an invitation to Santa Barbara, right? Who doesn't like an invitation
absolutely.
to Santa Barbara? We can show him lots of stuff.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Why not? No asking, no getting. Okay. Any other questions or comments? We can. All right. So why don't we then? Thank you. That's just receiving a report. So we'll move on to item 14.